Hello, my name is QR, and today we will be answering the questions: what is Redwall Abbey? Who are its co-founders? And what are their importance in the Redwall series? And before we get started, going forward, I will be jumping back and forth between important information regarding the new Redwall Remake in the next coming videos. In my previous Redwall discussion video, I talked about the upcoming Redwall remake of 3 of Brian Jack's books, and covered what the series should and shouldn't do. And my biggest concern, will Redwall fail? There will be spoilers in all of my Redwall discussion videos, which include the following: antagonists, protagonists, important events that will be categorized by a period of time or seasons, such as spring, summer, winter, and fall. This will not be covered in depth this discussion, but in a later video. There will also be the mention of vermins such as foxes, rats, slokes, cats, ferrets, pine marrons, sables, werets, weasels, and wolverines. There will also be reptiles, amphibians, birds, fish, and singled species, along with woodlanders such as badgers, hares, mice, voles, squirrels, shrews, rabbits, moles, hedgehogs, and finally seals and otters, which will all not be explained in this video except for the mice. To make these videos, I am using information from redwall.fandom and not Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is not a credible source for information and is susceptible to change. I am also using the physical copies of the books from Amazon as another source of information to fact check. So with that being said, let's get started. This is an artwork by Peter Lyon, who has created illustrations for the following Redwall books: Redwall, Matameo, and Mossflower. If you want to see his portfolio of artworks, I will leave the link in the description box below. A subscriber by the name Jack Main has created a portfolio of fan work supporting the legacy of Redwall. Follow him on Instagram and support his passionate work. The reason why I'm making these types of videos is not for me, but for the people who are like me and are new to the series and want to know, what is Redwall Abbey? Who made it? Why was it created in the first place? And the importance and impact it has had in the Redwall universe. To answer these questions, we must go back to Season 3 of Redwall, the book Martin the Warrior, Luke the Warrior, and Mossflower, which gives us the backstory of Martin the Warrior, his rise to fame, and the creation of Redwall Abbey. If you don't know who Martin the Warrior is, he was born in a cave along the North Shores, somewhere along this area, to Luke the Warrior and Sienna. He never knew his mother, for his camp was attacked by Vul Daskar, a pirate sloke who commanded a slave ship named the Gorleech. The large, sharp iron spike attached to the bow was for the ramming and crushing of other ships. Its crew made the mistake of raiding Luke's tribe. Luke took a vow to destroy it and Daskar, which leads to the start of the story in Season 3, Episode 1. The ship met its demise when Luke failed to set sail back to his home. He steered it into the tall rocks, which was near the previous home of his clan, ramming the spike deep into one of the towering stones. Some of Luke's crew survived, but he didn't. Bo survived along with Verge, Dolam, and Dino. They lived on the surviving half of the Gorleech, which was wedged between the two columns of the stone called the Tall Rocks. The Gorleech was renamed the Arf ship until Martin and his friends found Luke's crew many seasons later. Martin was a great fighter, both wise and ferocious. He was a slave at Fort Marshank for some time, until he was rescued by Latter Rose of Noonvale and her mole friend Grum Trencher. After the fall and liberation of Marshank and the death of Rose, Martin couldn't bring himself to stay in the Noonvale area. Troubled by his past, Martin journeyed south into Mossflower Woods in search of new adventures. He wandered by chance into the domain of Kotar and Lord Verdata Greeneyes, where he was arrested by Greeneyes' soldiers for being in possession of a sword, something that had forbidden Woodlanders in his own lands to own. The rebellious Martin was dragged into the great halls of Kotar and brought before a bedridden Verdata. Martin argued that it was unjust to force the laws of a land on a stranger who did not know them. Verdata, impressed by the boldness of Martin and his argument, decreed that Martin not be killed, but he should be thrown into the dungeons and released once due sentence had been served. According to the law, Verdata Greeneyes' daughter, Tismarina Greeneyes, was outraged by the decision and broke Martin's sword, ordering that he wear it about his neck as a mark of shame. Martin was taken away, but he vowed that he would slay Tismarina. She in turn poisoned her own father and did not release Martin when his sentence had ended. Martin languished in prison for the rest of the winter. But that spring, Gongfi the mouse thief joined him in jail, and the two became fast friends. They escaped soon afterwards, with the assistance from the Quorum, or the Council of Resistance in Mossflower, who educated Martin on the Greeneyes' family legacy of cruelty and slavery, at the urging of Bella of Brockenhall. Martin then journeyed to Salamandrian with Denny and Gongfi to seek help in fighting Tismarina. On the journey, they met a Logolog named Big Club on the Great South Stream, and his ship Waterwing got the travelers as far as Bat Mount Pit. They reached Salamandrian, where Bor the Fighter forged Martin a new blade to replace his father's old sword. During a battle between Bor the Fighter and his enemy Ripfang, they stole the Kotsar's ship, the Bloodwake, and Logolog Big Club navigated it up the River Moss back to Mossflower Woods. During the journey, Martin was reunited with Tim Basilico, his childhood friend, who was among the Otar slaves freed from the Bloodwake's hold. On his return to Mossflower, Martin and the Quorum confronted Tismarina, demanding that she end her regime of tyranny. When she refused, Martin directed the Quorum to lay siege to Kotar, plummeting it with ballista boulders and damming the River Moss to flood the integrating stronghold. Martin, in full battle armor, sought out Tismarina as she escaped the wreckage. They battled savagely and without quarter, and Tismarina struck Martin down twice. Both times he rose and fought again, despite the severe wounds the wildcat inflicted on him. He was eventually able to drive her back into the lake where she drowned, but he collapsed unconscious minutes later, so close to death that he was talking to the deceased Bor the Fighter at the gates of Dark Forest. He was found by Gongfi, Denny, and Tisbaslico, who brought him back to Brockhall for healing. However, it took 20 days before Martin regained full consciousness, and he was still weak after that. Under the care of Bella and the Loamhedge mice, he made a quick recovery. With peace in Mossflower Woods, Martin willingly joined in seeking Abbess Germain's dream of a welcoming abbey become a reality. Martin proved himself a natural leader in peace and was known to be the guiding light of Redwall Abbey. When a hedgehog from the Northlands named Trip arrived one summer and mentioned Luke the warrior, Martin journeyed to the North Shores to learn about his father's life and death, with Gongfi and Dinny by his side. After this adventure, he gave up warfare and had his sword afflicted to the Redwall weather vane. He brought back a tapestry of his grandfather from the Northlands, which was eventually expanded into a tapestry of himself. The tapestry was hung in the Great Hall. Martin was known to have gone on at least one more quest, possibly alone, after the construction of Redwall Abbey. After his death, he was buried underneath the stairs that connected the Great Hall and Cavern Hall within the abbey. Though Martin never married and left no blood descendants, his spirit often guided Redwall's questers and warriors and those with good intentions. After the collapse of Kotar, Redwall Abbey was constructed over the ruins, co-founded by Abbess Germain and Martin the Warrior as a refuge for Woodlanders in their time of need. When Cluny the Scoundrel invaded the Mossflower Woods during the late Summer Rose Wars, the Abbey offered its protection to Woodlanders. Blueprints of the Abbey's complex, designed by Germain, became a reality with Martin's assistance. The Abbey was built out of red sandstone from a neighboring quarry by Woodlanders of Mossflower and the survivors of the Lomhedge Abbey plague. Construction took more than 20 seasons. While it is ordained to be a peaceful location, many times a warrior is called upon the residents to combat a threat against this peace. Such a warrior was Matthias, who succeeded Martin as his true successor, and inherited his title as the protector of the abbey. As said in Martin's tapestry, a famous allogram, I am that is, which later decoded to I, Matthias. That is all I have for today. Thank you so much for watching. In the comments, let me know what is your favorite character from Redwall. Let me know in the comments.